everyone, I'm Emily Andrews. I serve as Executive Director of the Center for Worship and the Arts here at Samford University. The center was founded in 2012 with the explicit mission of empowering young people to be the church now. And over the years, we've been following some research that sometimes highlights some kind of depressing trends, that young people are leaving the church in increasing numbers and increasingly also in younger ages. But we've also been following some encouraging research that says this: there is a key baseline factor that encourages young people to be a part of the church now, and that is inviting them to participate in the worship of the church with all ages. Now, we recognize that there is no silver bullet for fostering this kind of deep and enriching faith for young people. But over the years, we have found that we think there are at least 4 areas that we can invite young people in to be faithful worshipers even now. First, young people need to be invited out of their own liturgical homelands to experience unfamiliar and diverse expressions of worship. This is a key pedagogical principle of our work here at Animate. So by participating in worship that is outside of their norm, whatever that norm is, they actually end up with a deeper appreciation for the worship of their tradition. Secondly, they are formed to have a far more flexible worship identity, which we think is increasingly important in the diverse and rapidly changing world of today. Second, young people must be guided explicitly to see how worship is both similar to, but also distinguished from worship in everyday life, in order to maximize worship's effectiveness toward their deep spiritual formation. And so for this, we're naming those signs and symbols and gestures of worship. Our handshakes and hugs, our messages, our prayers, everything that we're doing in worship, to see how it can walk with them throughout their daily life, when they go home, to school, to the park, to concerts, to practice. And we're learning that a key aspect of this is to make it explicit, because young people may associate those practices with worship, but they may have difficulty to see how it's connected to their everyday life. For instance, how it is that our asking for forgiveness from God in worship helps form us to be more gracious and forgiving people in everyday life. Third, young people need to see how their gifts can be used in service to the church now. This is a really big deal for young people because it sends them a really vital message that you belong to the church now, and thus your identity is rooted in God. So most people today lead really busy lives. Young people are going to school, to the home and all the things that are going on, to sports, to church, to clubs, to band. And in all of these activities, they are utilizing and developing gifts and their leadership. And they're able to use those skills in all of these different spaces. But then they come to church and they too often receive the opposite message, that your gifts are not really important here. Instead, the church needs to be the space where they come and see that their gifts and their leadership are valued, that the church is actually the prime space where these skills are nourished. Finally, we do still need to leave room for age-specific ministry, especially with children, teens, and even emerging adults. And so they need to be able to practice their skills for worship and worship's leadership in safe, even playful environments alongside their peers and gracious mentors. The youth and college worship space, we have seen how those are really vital spaces for allowing young people to practice worship and practice their gifts in and for worship, alongside these gracious mentors and ministers who walk alongside of them. And this provides for them in a really low-risk environment these multiple and repeated opportunities to utilize and nourish their gifts. And when this is done intentionally, we have seen that a synergy can happen, that those young people are developing those gifts and being called by God to use their gifts in service to the church. And then they come back to worship in the church for all ages. And they see again that they belong to the church and that their identity is found there. Again, we don't think there are any silver bullets when it comes to fostering a deep faith with young people, but we've kind of seen these areas become a diagnostic tool for us to assess our ministry with young people and to help us develop ways to engage them in faithful worship. In all of our work, that is our goal, that we, again, are empowering young people to be the church now and to see that they are called to be faithful worshipers every day of their lives.